Kamala Harris had a difficult relationship with Volodymyr Zelenskyy as Vice President of the United States, according to an article by Simon Schuster for Time. The author recounts a meeting between Harris and Volodymyr Zelenskyy on the sidelines of the Munich Security Conference back in 2022. Both interlocutors then agreed that a Russian attack on Ukraine was inevitable. Zelenskyy then called on the United States to impose preventive sanctions against Russia, arguing that this will force Putin to reconsider his decision to invade Ukraine and provide our country with all the necessary weapons, including anti-aircraft systems, fighter jets, and artillery. But Harris rejected both proposals. The vice president said that the United States cannot impose preventive sanctions against Russia, as punishment can only be imposed after a crime has been committed. Instead, the Americans pressured Zelenskyy to publicly state that the invasion was inevitable. This seems to have increased the Ukrainian president's disappointment with our allies. The Times article argues that the 2022 meeting set the tone for Zelenskyy-Harris relations, which have never been particularly warm. Schuster also recalls that the U.S. vice president has never been to Ukraine, although she has met with leader 6 times. The last meeting took place on the sidelines of the Global Peace Summit in Switzerland. Iran is preparing a direct strike against Israel for the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. A massive attack could begin in the next 72 hours. According to the New York Times, citing 3 Iranian officials, this was the order given by Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, at an emergency meeting of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. It is unclear what exactly is meant by the words direct attack. The publication, citing its Iranian sources, reports that the military command is considering another combined drone and missile attack on Tel Aviv and Haifa. To maximize the effect of such a strike, the Iranians are seeking to involve their allies from Yemen, Syria, and Iraq. He instructed the Iranian military to prepare plans for both offense and defense. Iran will resort to defense if, in turn, Israel or the United States strikes Iran. In its turn, Israel, which is at war with Hamas, neither recognized nor denied the murder of Haniyeh, who was in Tehran for the inauguration of the new Iranian president. Diplomats from the United States and the EU are holding urgent talks on the Middle East in an attempt to avert the threat of a full-scale regional war, the Financial Times reports. The threat of escalation arose after Israel, allegedly by Israel, struck Hezbollah and Hamas leaders in Beirut and Tehran. Enrique Mora, one of the EU's most influential diplomats, held urgent talks with officials in the Iranian capital on Wednesday, following the assassination of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, for which Israel is blamed. While Brett McGurk, the White House's chief Middle East envoy, was holding talks in Saudi Arabia. Officials said the talks were focused on convincing Tehran to either not respond or take symbolic action, after Israeli diplomats told Western allies that their military was not planning further operations.